Forever young. I want to be forever young.
Death becomes her. Death becomes.
Death becomes her. Death become, come. You know what?
Nope. We're still workshopping that. Welcome to Your Inner Child's Date, the podcast where we look back on things from our childhood and see if they were any good. My name is DJ.
And my name's Damon, and I'm looking at DJ's face.
The flesh.
I'm actually looking at your face, but it's via video recording.
Oh.
People don't know that you record your half of the show. You email the video to me, and I respond to everything you're saying.
It's like an old school cartoon. Like you just have to find the gaps. Find the gaps.
It's true.
We're just in here, just in the same room for the first time. I mean, that's not exactly true, but for recording the podcast together for the first time.
And you told me you changed out your ventilation system. Is that correct?
Yes. This is
good.
Definitely fine. I'm definitely not nervous about it at all, especially given that you were just licking things in a hospital this weekend.
I've got a hobby. And they have lax security.
Just in here, just breathing the same air like people do.
Why wouldn't two people do that?
Not worried about it at all. Anyway, today we're going to watch...
Soon I'll be using some of your utensils to consume food in your home.
Hadn't thought about that. We're going to have to rethink this whole thing. Today we're going to watch Death Becomes Her because it's Halloween.
Yes, and it's one of the scariest fucking movies I've ever seen.
Look, there's a limit to what... there's a limit to what we want to watch. How about that?
That is true. I've always said that.
So this is about... this is not scary at all, right?
Not remotely.
I have definitely seen this, but I have very little memory of it.
Did I not foist it upon you when we were roommates?
I don't think I ever... I think we talked about it.
I threatened it.
You might have threatened it. This and Hudson Hawk you threatened me with, but I don't think you ever followed
the Bruce Willis trifecta.
Yeah.
It's weird because it's just two movies, but it's still known as the Bruce Willis trifecta.
So this has Meryl Streep, Goldie Hawn.
Yes, I can confirm both
Goldie
of those.
Hawn in a rare non-Goldie role.
Oh yeah, she's Ready Ron.
Yeah.
Ready Ron.
Ready Ron. Doesn't even make any sense.
Why would you change your last name? It's more paperwork.
And of course Bruce Willis. And I feel like is this pre-action? No, this is post Die Hard.
Oh yeah, this is 1992, so we're two films into the Die Hard oeuvre.
He's going back to his comedy roots in this one.
Yeah.
And Meryl Streep is like, listen, I'm not considered the best actress in the world yet. So I'm going to do shit
I'm in
like
the
this.
conversation,
yeah.
But I haven't become synonymous yet.
Goldie Hawn's like, just happy to be here. Just happy to be here. Thanks.
Happy for the work.
Yeah.
Bird on a Wire didn't turn out the way I thought it would. Yeah, and then you also have Isabella Rossellini before she did all her bug sex videos for YouTube.
Okay. What? So they're dead. The two ladies, Goldie Hawn and Meryl Streep.
They don't start out that way.
Well, sure.
Much like many dead people.
None of us do.
Yeah, they take a potion. Which gives them youth, but it also makes them essentially immortal. Okay. Which then causes a bunch of funny, light body horror hijinks. That results in
one of them has
injuries.
A hole in them, right?
Mm-hmm,
okay.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. One has some severe neck injuries at one point. I
remember being put off by this.
I remember being put on by this.
Yeah.
Seeing the commercials on TV. I think because of the sort of Looney Tunes style humor, I was like, what is this movie? But
you remember when Bugs Bunny broke his neck?
Well, I remember when Elmer Fudd would have his head on backwards occasionally and then just fix it by turning his head around.
Fair enough.
And I think I remember being still at that age where I was very nervous about blood and gore.
Yeah.
And so I was scared to watch it because it was a PG-13 movie.
Oh.
Ooh. And
they can go all the way with this.
Oh, movie. Yeah. They can go most of the way.
You get one fuck.
You get one fuck and a lot more blood than you'd think.
One boob.
And a ball. I'll give you a ball.
No. You know what? I take it back.
And I remember being like really into it, but I was scared to see it in theaters, not knowing what it is. So I sent a proxy in the form of my much older brother, Jason, who went to see it of his own volition. But then I wanted to know...
You sent a proxy who wanted to go anyway.
Right, a proxy who made his own choice to go weeks before I ever would have considered asking him.
How proxies work.
And I believe I asked him, I was like, what's the blood situation? And he said, there's really not that much blood. So the minute it came to showtime...
You were on it.
I was in it.
Yeah.
And I immediately loved it. It's a lot of fun.
You're gaming.
Yeah, that's correct. Thank you. I think I feel like we've reached the point where I feel comfortable telling you that.
What's the Meryl Streep situation? Are you like?
Oh, I love her.
Okay, she's an internationally recognized great actress. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there does seem to be an additional attachment from the gay community. Am I wrong about that?
No, you're not wrong. I think Billy Eichner really codified that for us in screaming
Billy.
at random New Yorkers about Meryl Streep's character roles. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think every generation has their own little Meryl Streep moment.
Yeah.
I think for my generation, it was Death Becomes Her.
Right.
And then for gays a little bit younger than me, it was Devil Wears Prada. But she always knows, I just need one movie in there, and I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you.
Get you.
That's my Meryl Streep impression. I'm going to get you.
Thank you for the Oscar. I'll put it on my Oscar shelf.
Clink, clink.
Appreciate it.
It hit the other Oscar.
Pardon me, other Oscar. I'll buff that out later.
Also, though, we were a Bruce Willis household. There's Twizzlers households, Red Vine's household, and Bruce Willis households. And we were a Bruce Willis household, much like the Hudson Hawk you previously referenced. Right. We also liked Die Hard in our house.
Right.
Although I would never watch too much blood at the time.
More blood? Is there more blood in Die Hard than this movie?
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
There's a lot of blood in Die Hard. I wouldn't call it gory, but there's definitely a lot of blood.
There's only a small amount of blood in this movie, and mostly for comedic purposes.
Sure. The best way to use blood, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Except for maybe transfusions. Oh,
yeah. I mean, it's a tight race.
Yeah.
It's a tight race. And if you're a Christian Scientist, it's a one-way race. Only comedic blood wins.
That's the only thing that Christian Scientists are cool with. We're going to watch Death Becomes Her. Do you have any other things to add before we watch away?
No.
Okay, me neither.
I thought about it, and I can confirm, no, I do not.
We just rented it. You can rent it on the old Amazon.
Oh, yeah.
But watch along with us. We'll be right back. You want to know something really spooky this spooky season?
Yeah, I think I do.
Supporting a podcast on Patreon. Woo!
Oh, your voice took a different cadence.
Woo!
Oh, you're sort of coming at me.
You got something, you got a real treat in your bag.
Oh, I think I know where. Go ahead.
It's patreon.com/UnitChildMedia.
I thought you were going to do like a trick part, like the counterpoint to the treat.
The treat is that the trick is that there is no treat.
Oh, the treat is that there is no trick.
See?
Ah,
works both ways.
The treat was you gave me that line.
There you go.
You didn't take it for yourself.
Yes, I did that on purpose. Support the show. Patreon.com/UnitChildMedia. And we are back. We watched Death Becomes Her, D Becomes H. That's how I like
D becomes H. Why wouldn't you abbreviate the two one-syllable words? Just before we get into the recap, this is a thought I had. I've been watching this movie for 20 years now.
Yeah.
This may be one of the worst titles of a good movie. This is is it a play on that dress becomes her?
Is that a phrase?
No, that's what I'm trying to figure out. It's very becoming on you. Death is very becoming on you.
Oh, like death becomes her. Like
right.
She's
not becoming death. Or vice versa.
I am become death.
It is becoming on me like a look or a style.
Okay. I never even got that, but now I kind of like it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
See, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, what are you saying?
Apparently, Bruce Willis proposed, "That's death, baby." That's for IMDb, so huge asterisk might not be true at all, but I like the idea of...
Wait, is that a serious thing?
It was one of the trivia
Someone
things.
wrote that down. Even if they made it up, someone wrote that down.
I like
That's
idea.
Death Baby.
I like the idea that Bruce Willis is just... First of all, asking Bruce Willis what his ideas for the title are. Why are we doing that?
Hey, how about you pull the harmonica out of your mouth and let me know what you think the movie we're currently filming should be titled, Bruce.
What about Die Hard? Like, it's easy to survive, but it's hard. Wait, no, it's not easy to survive. So it'd be hard to die.
Wait, now I'm thinking, is Die Hard a play on Try Hard?
I think Die Hard is maybe a stupid title as well.
Not as stupid as Die Harder.
Yes, you are correct.
Or Live Free or Die Hard.
It's like one of those things where it's like a band name. It just becomes, if you make it vague enough, it just becomes, you get to, imbue your own meaning. Except for not at all, because it's about a certain thing, because it's a movie, you motherfuckers.
Oh, it's like how you don't even think about how the Beatles is like a pun now.
Yeah.
Because they keep a beat, because they have a drummer in the band.
Right.
But Beatles is an animal,
and it's
a creature
also like
with an E.
Creature, like a parochial. Do you want to recap this? Because I don't know if I can in a succinct way.
DJ, I've been training my entire life to recap this movie. This movie is the story of Madeline Ashton. Oh,
stopwatch.
Thank you. This story is wait, am I going for a certain time? Stop the stopwatch. Okay, am I going for a certain time?
You're just trying to get as quick as you can. Go.
Oh, beat my own record.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you want to just do...
Oh, wait, sorry.
We're going
I think you've hit it. Now it's like a Goldfinger, and I need you to... Not Goldfinger. What's the other one? Golden Eye. You have to hit the pen or the stopwatch. Sorry, didn't mean to break the
illusion.
The illusion right there. One more.
Okay,
time.
you're going for your PB here. That's important. Go.
All right, so the story is about Madeline Ashton, a fallen starlet who is obsessed with getting older, and her best frenemy, a term I just came up with, Helen Sharp, who is... if you could just scratch that out. She's about to tell Madeline about her engagement to Ernest Menville, a plastic surgeon, but Madeline Ashton steals him from Helen, driving Helen to become mad, 1, and 2, obsessed with Madeline Ashton. Anyway, fast forward 14 years later, and Madeline and Ernest are in loveless marriage. Madeline's star has fallen even farther when she gets an invite to Helen Sharp's book party. And she finds out Helen Sharp is looking better than ever.
Shit.
And Madeline becomes even more concerned about her age. And she finds out that Helen Sharp blames Madeline for stealing her man. She finds out about a secret elite group that has been assisted by a woman named Liesel von Ruhmann.
I think you're about to describe the Navy SEALs.
I was about to try and indoctrinate you into the Masons. She learns about Liesel von Ruhmann, a woman who can help people with their looks, agings? I guess.
Yeah.
She goes to her house, played by a very almost naked Isabella Rossellini, who gives her a potion that makes her young again. But lo and behold, it also makes her not killable. Weird way to put that. She lives forever. After a fight with Bruce Willis, she falls down the stairs, pushed by Bruce Willis, one might say. A police report for one. And she, cracks her neck around. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Anyway, the point is that she can't die. Her neck's all busted up. She has to get drained of her blood by her husband and repainted up so that she's looks presentable again. And then Helen Sharp comes. They fight. Some holes get busted into Helen's tummy. And that's when they realize they've both taken the potion and they can't be killed. But they make up real quick, but then they realize that if they need to upkeep their now dead bodies that have continued living, they need Bruce Willis to be alive forever anyway. So they try and get him to take a potion. He refuses. He escapes and lives a happy life, dies as an old man, and they look like shit because they've been spray painting their bodies for the rest of their lives. I started strong. And it kind of wishy-washy.
1 hour and 5 minutes.
We should have just played the movie, just the audio of the movie.
We see Meryl Streep take the potion, but we don't see Goldie Hawn. So
Roldy Ron, I believe we
Roldy Ron because she's got red hair. later, not even the whole movie. But she gives a warning about upkeeping. Do you remember what exactly the warning is?
Yes, after Meryl takes the potion, she says, "Now a warning." And
now
a warning,
which is great.
She says, "Take care of your body. You and your body are going to be together for a very long time."
Okay.
And then she puts a little pin on her and says, "Sempre viva, live forever."
So the idea here is just recapping sort of the premise for their like superpower. They live forever, but their body doesn't, like, if so their body like rots because it's actually like when she breaks her neck, she would be dead if it weren't for the spell. Or
her body stops. I mean, she goes to the hospital when she falls down the stairs,
right.
and the doctor
favorite scene by far.
says, your wrist is fractured in 3 places. The vertebra, the bone protrusion through the skin, that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
And your body temperature's below 80 and your heart stopped beating.
Yeah. And then he dies.
Then he has a heart attack. So essentially your body dies but keeps on living after you. And what I picked up this time watching is that Bruce Willis's character started as a plastic surgeon, but now works as sort of an undertaker to the stars. Like he can make people look very much alive at their funerals. And so he replaces their blood with formaldehyde. He essentially does what you would do to someone.
Basically.
Yeah,
okay.
Embalms them. And then spray paints their body with mannequin paint as his secret trick to making people look so alive. So that's
how he keeps them from being like zombies.
That's how they stop them from rotting, yeah.
Got it. Okay. I guess
I didn't pick up, the movie's not very explicit about that, but yeah that is...
Okay.
Or maybe it's more explicit, but I've just been, because I saw it as a kid, sometimes I rewatch it as a kid, and then when I finally watch it with other people, I'm like, oh,
yeah, surprisingly,
he's pickling them.
Even though I did like notice the like chemicals, the formaldehyde, like in the first scene when, like after her death, when he's like painting her, I didn't even put that together that that's what he was doing.
Right. He's using his billiard table as like an embalming table.
Right. It makes sense because there's blood everywhere. You know, like, oh, okay. So yes, okay. And that's why they want to keep him around, because he's going to have to keep maintenance up on them, because otherwise they start rotting, which is what happens at the end. They're kind of melty, and then they all fall into pieces like Barbie dolls at the end. Which is
right. And they also, I think their bones don't work. When they're walking in that final scene, their legs are all bow-legged and weird.
Yeah.
It's very charming.
They have a very like Statler and Waldorf vibe. They're just like two like friends that don't even like each other, but they're always around each other.
Yeah.
What's so bad about the musical she's in at the beginning? I found it very charming, actually.
I had to look this up, so she's in a play called Songbird! !
Yeah.
As is legally required for any musical adaptation of a movie, which is, I guess, it's an adaptation of Sweet Bird of Youth, which is a Tennessee Williams play that was later adapted into a movie that I had to look up because I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
First off, in Sweet Bird of Youth, it's about a gigolo who like gets with an aging starlet, and then he sort of abandons her to go back to his hometown, or at least that's what Wikipedia told me. I've never seen either the play nor the movie. So I believe she's playing that aging starlet even in the play.
I will take that as gospel, then.
So I think part of the problem with this play would be that it's taken a very sad story and given it a happy ending, because she's singing about empowerment. Plus, there's a weird disco number in there, which it being 1978 seems very cloying and like desperate. I did have a note here that there is nothing better than Meryl Streep playing a bad actress, which she gets to do in this. That first shot of her in the play, the spotlight comes onto her, and she's looking straight ahead, and then she briefly like looks off to the side like, what am I supposed to do again? And then she starts singing her song like it's slightly offbeat. And then later we see this sort of Hitchcockian movie Dark Window that she was in the 60s, and it looks like it's spliced together with an older movie with Michael Caine, a young Michael Caine. I tried to look up what movie it was, but I could not figure it out. But he walks into a room and she goes, "What are you doing here?" It's absolutely atrocious. I ate up every minute of it.
Very good. Can we talk about Goldie Hawn's fat suit?
Yeah.
So we fast forward in time after Meryl steals Bruce Willis from Goldie Hawn, and Goldie Hawn is destitute. She's living with a billion cats.
She eats frosting as a snack.
She's getting evicted. I thought that was like marshmallow fluff.
I don't think we didn't have the technology in 1992 for marshmallow fluff yet. We didn't know how to extract extract the fluff from the marshmallow.
I think marshmallow fluff is a very 50s, 60s food.
No, I think when she opens the cabinet, it's all like Duncan Hines pre-made frostings.
Okay.
All different flavors too. That's why I didn't read it as marshmallow fluff. It's all like chocolate and strawberry and all these things. Also, that cat was in the cabinet, which I enjoyed. So she opens the cabinet and the cat is in there.
They would if they could.
Absolutely. Every time we open the cabinet, Tippy's like, "Can I just get in there?" I'm like, "No. These have fallen off the wall before. You can't just get in."
Because of you. But yeah, she's also wearing a fat suit.
Yes.
And it's gross.
It is gross, a little fat phobic.
I don't mean gross. I mean gross that she's wearing a fat suit.
Right. Look how far she's fallen. Yeah. She's fat now. And I think there is also a smaller fat suit on her when she, in an earlier scene when she's telling Ernest that she suspects that he's falling for Madeline Ashton. You can tell she's a little thicker than she was.
Tiny fat suit.
little wee fat suit. Yeah, I mean, that's not the most charming aspect of the movie. Luckily, it's only for 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, and this was 1992. Now we never do stuff like that.
We never knew that fat people had feelings and were real people before then.
Well, we definitely didn't give Martin Short his own talk show where he exclusively played someone in a fat suit. Do you remember that?
Jiminy Glick! YouTube really wants me to watch a lot of Jiminy Glick clips, which is hard to say. Jiminy Glick clips. And I'm not going to lie to you, sometimes I watch them and sometimes I really laugh. Not the fat jokes, but sometimes him not knowing who people are. When he keeps insisting that Steve Martin's middle name is Glenn. Steve Martin says, "No, it's not my middle name." I want to give a quick shout out to a coworker. One time,
sorry, I forgot to hit the button.
Thank you. Kiss cam. I was talking to my friend Rachel at work, and
Rachel, what's up, Rachel? Thanks so much.
Thanks for calling in. We'll just add that in post. She reached out to me on Slack, as a coworker would.
Okay.
And she just said, "I would like to talk about." And I think she was looking up a case number or something for me. And I said, Madeline Ashton. And I didn't know that she was Death Becomes Her fan. And she was. And then we started just quoting random things from Death Becomes Her.
Excellent.
Also, that whole scene is a One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest reference. And we get Olivia from Sesame Street as the psychiatrist, which is a treat.
Right. Yeah. We also get cut back to Madeline, who has her staff say to her every day, "Oh, Madeline, you look younger every day."
Previously, it was just Tuesdays and Thursdays, but now I really think you should say it every day.
She also says, then she says, she like interrupts herself, just Meryl Streep being amazing. She just goes like, "Oh, thank you. And what is this?" She's like immediately like was pretending to be grateful for this.
She sees the envelope, the invitation to Helen Sharp's book party, and she's like, oh, she sees her breakfast tray, and she's like, thank you. What is this? Immediately turns on it. I want to say also, while we're just gushing over Meryl Streep,
what else do I have?
she does this fun tick when she's playing Madeline Ashton, where she gets like a weird vocal fry, almost like I think it's like an attempt to be older, but it also gives her like a little lack of class, where she finds out that Helen's book is called Forever Young, and she goes, "Forever young, ha, and eternally fat." And she has this weird like guttural sound in her voice. I love it. This is one of those few times when you have an Oscar nominated and winning actress already at this point, and she's in this sort of what could be like easily like just say the lines on the page and you can, get laughs.
Yeah.
But I feel like she still imbues a little bit to Madeline Ashton that is weird and kind of rough around the edges.
There's like a
and you can
pathos
see
to
that
it.
she did grow up in Newark.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And was not popular with her own friends.
Yes. Yeah. There's she has a tryst with like a pool boy.
Yeah.
and
Dakota. That is one of the third tier quotes that me and my brother like to say to each other. You start with, I can see my ass. Why can I see my own ass? And then you work down to, I'd like to talk about Madeline Ashton. And then when you get to the third tier, it's really just a bonding experience of, hey, do you remember this movie?
You've seen this movie also.
And me and my brother just like to go, Dakota. But sorry, go ahead.
Well, he's got a lady with him in the pool house, and he's trying to like lie to her, and he's really struggling. And she goes, "For Christ's sake, at least lie quickly."
I am trying to.
Yeah.
She's a friend of the guy who is here to fix the. Actually, I've never really realized. Did she just go down to her own pool house? Is that what I'm supposed to take away?
I don't know where that actually was. It just seems like a pool house situation, but
Right.
it was on the ocean. You can see
Yeah,
the
I
ocean
saw
behind
that.
him, but I don't know if that's her house or what.
Yeah, I don't know. I never thought of that. Why? How would she know this 20-something-year-old man?
Right. Yeah. I just sort of made that up. I have no idea if that's...
No.
Yeah.
It's canon. Head canon for Death Becomes Her.
Well, and then at one point, when she's being convinced to take the potion with Lysol, she what does she say to convince her? But she goes, "Check, okay." Isabel's like, fine.
Yeah, she just basically says, you'll never grow old and you'll be young forever. And she
Yeah.
says, check, okay.
Yeah, I like that. And then, of course, you're a tragic, boozy, flaccid clown.
And when she says boozy, she like moves her head
she
in
does
like a complete circle.
Yeah, it's very good.
And then she does flaccid with her tongue. Also, there was a weird. I'm just going to keep doing this. Stop me when you're ready. Mm-hmm. She hears Bruce Willis walking down the hall, and she thinks it's Rose, her assistant, and she screams, "Rose!" And she's like, "Oh, it's you. You're dressed. Special occasion?" And he holds up his bag and says, "Work." And she just responds, "Ghoul."
And then at some point he goes, "Fine, dear. Thank you. Like a rock." They have a great relationship.
The sex is amazing, though. Actually, no, it's not. He's flaccid.
Yeah. What's the you named the actor, the weird eye guy? There's a weird like concierge guy when Meryl Streep gets to
she goes to
a lot of weird characters.
Oh, absolutely. She goes to a beauty salon,
That's what it is.
like a very bougie, like
where they have these like French accents that they immediately drop when
if they're in trouble.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to think of it's not a beauty salon like you and I would know it. It's
Right.
like a weird
posh LA like
we're going to
top-tier-
replace your blood with 20-year-old's blood.
People like you and me would not be able to get in even an appointment to see this place. Yeah.
That is Mr. Chagall. The actor is Ian Ogilvy.
Fantastic.
Me and my brother also, speaking of headcanon, have a headcanon for him in that he has also taken Liesl's potion.
Yeah.
But his eye is not working like it used to.
Something's
because
amiss
his
there. Yeah.
body is starting to decompose as well.
Right.
Because his eye flutters and he has to like stop it with his finger.
Yeah.
And it continues to do that throughout the scene.
It's very like a choice, either the actor or they made.
Yeah.
Like it's not like this guy has like
no one ever goes, "What's wrong with your fucking eye?"
Yeah. But it's definitely a choice, and his whole demeanor is very like it's indicative of like something ain't right here. And it's great.
Very amiss.
Yeah. It's very good because he's also like got that sort of like snooty salon guy, but also he's like, you really want the good stuff? Call this lady.
Right, call Liesl von Ruhmann. There is a scene with Anna, who is the assistant with the faux French accent that she drops when she thinks she's in trouble. Where she's like, "Oh, maybe a nice collagen buff?" And Meryl says, "A collagen buff? Might as well ask me to wash with soap and water."
Speaking of weird shit, she goes to Liesl's castle.
Oh my God, that castle! What is that Art Deco thing?
When she has like WWF wrestler butlers. One of them is Fabio.
Yes, we do see one that is
Briefly.
a pre-goose Fabio.
You say pre-goose, is that like when What happened to him?
When he was on that roller coaster and that goose hit him in the face.
Yeah.
Killing the poor goose.
Well, yeah, but like that's... Why is that of course it's pre-ghost.
That's the demarcation. We have BCAD. For Fabio, you have PGAG.
How is it in the I can't believe it's not butter commercial? Is it before or after?
I believe that is maybe I think I can't believe it's not butter is also pre-goose.
Yeah. I think this
is peak Fabio.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like this is still before
him having
butter.
a non-speaking role in a movie is peak Fabio, unfortunately.
No, because I think it's maybe Death Becomes Her, butter, goose.
Pour one out for that goose.
I was thinking...
he didn't know what's going on.
Can we talk about Isabella's boobs, please?
I mean, we're going to have to.
I know you don't want... I know this is hard for you. I don't want to just be like...
Sorry, drum fill on...
Okay, gotcha. I thought you were just
not hard
telling the drummer to shh. Like he went... And then you're shh.
I told you I do all the symbols in this recording. Let's talk about our boobs.
Okay, let me keep it brief because I don't want to just be this gross straight guy. So Isabella Rossellini plays Lysel, the like evil witch
the wicked witch of the West
that gives
Coast.
him this potion, and she basically has no top but just a necklace full of jewels.
Correct.
So she's very clearly like topless but with jewels, and they're like clearly like taped. So they don't.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's like it's a nude illusion to borrow RuPaul's term. Yeah. It's like probably a mesh.
You definitely get a lot of side boob, and she's like very alluring and like.
I mean, if you're an 11-year-old straight boy, there's a lot to work with here.
I didn't remember this when we were just going from memory, but as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, I definitely remember this.
This is a hardwired memory for me.
My young teenage boy self remembers that for sure. But
you're like, why am I watching this camp classic?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She's a nice looking lady.
I can't deny she is a symmetrical woman.
And whoever her body double is has a nice butt.
That is true.
Good for them. Good for you.
Not to steal anyone's story, but friend of the show, LT, went to see this movie.
LT. Thanks for calling in, LT.
She went to see this
You're
movie
the second
with
caller.
her.
You get to continue to be our friends.
She went to see this movie with her mother as a young lesbian tween.
Her mother was?
No,
okay.
she was. Her mother wouldn't have also been a tween.
Okay, I'm now I understand. That was very confusing.
Her mother didn't get born and then immediately give birth to LT.
We're talking about Death Becomes Her. A lot of weird shit's happening. I don't know.
It was just two women enjoying a movie, and then all of a sudden there's this beautiful Italian woman with her side boobs out and bejeweled breasts.
Isabella Rossellini.
And, as LT was immediately uncomfortable because it's like, why am I watching this sexy lady with my mom?
And I think there was the classic lesbian moment. I mean, I don't want to speak over LT's truth or anything like that, but
speak
probably
over her truth.
I think, this is something for her to share, but I think
sure.
I would like to think that she would say, oh boy,
the weird thing is she was wearing a dickie and it rolled up like a pair of blinds and slapped her in the face and she had to press it back down.
Oh. She starts slamming her foot on the floor.
Her head turned into a wolf's head. They had to see a doctor. It doesn't, unlike in the cartoons, it doesn't immediately go back into your own head. You have to then get antibiotics to have the wolf head recede. It takes like 2 to 3 weeks.
Why'd you say antibiotics? Like you're my grandfather.
They got these antibiotics now. Trying to put shit in my body.
Every once in a while, my grandpa would say stuff like Cincinnati in Missouri, and I'd be like, where are you from? You're from where I'm from. Why are you talking like this? You're the reason I'm from where I'm from. Why are you talking?
Benny, you can cut this out, but that reminds me of that Seinfeld where George says, we had a deal. And Jerry's like, we just shook hands. And he's like, a handshake means a deal where I come from. And Jerry's like, we come from the same place.
You just got here. I really like that line.
Bruce Willis.
He's a good sad sack. I did want to touch on that because we gushed about Meryl. And I think that Goldie Hawn holds her own for sure. She does a great job in this, and she's got some good laugh lines. But Meryl and Bruce have almost all of the good lines.
He's really good, and it does kind of remind you, like, how funny Bruce Willis is just naturally, and how he sort of drifted away from being funny in recent years.
Well, he's funny in Die Hard. Like, it's not
not any of the most recent Dies
Hard.
No,
but I mean, like the original one, he's he's cracking jokes all over the place. It's really pretty funny. It's not this kind of funny. It's a different thing, but he's just like, he's a charismatic actor. Or at least he was. This is very like straight from Moonlighting, like that same. You could like this is more linear than like if you just watched Moonlighting and then you watch what he does now, you'd be like, what the fuck happened to this guy? But this makes a lot more sense.
Do you think it was like a Samson type thing where the minute he was like, I'm going to shave my head now, and like he immediately lost his ability to just sort of like have comic relief and just be able to like hold his own, like that comic timing? Because ever since then, he's just looked like a head from Easter Island. He's just very stern, very stoic. Like even the last few Dies Hard have not been very funny.
Yeah.
And I can't think of the last time he's been in like a at least half comedic role.
I wonder if it was just like because
Unbreakable and The Glass and what was the other Beast Man?
Well, Sixth Sense was so like serious, and he like got a lot of acclaim for that, deservedly, I think. I mean, we should probably revisit that one, but like, but he, he had played a very somber, serious character in that one, and that like he's now like being taken even more seriously, not just an action guy, not just a comedy guy like he was earlier in his career, but now he's also a serious actor guy, and he thought like, I need to like never show emotion, and it was like, no, Bruce, that was just that one role, which you did well. But you don't have to just do that. And he's like, no, that's what I'm doing.
Nope. My face will never move from this stern emotion ever again. No, he's absolutely great. And also, I mean, it's important to note he is also, while sticking to his comedic roots, he is also playing against type.
Right.
He is sort of this schlubby. They've aged him up, I think, about 20 years. He looks kind of sallow. He's a drunk. He's very puffy and kind of thick around the midsection. They've really like completely desexualized this guy, and he holds his own. He like does a great job.
When they even like pointed out in reverse, like Goldie Hawn's like, oh yeah, you're such a sensual, and it's played as a joke, right? Because she's clearly manipulating him because obviously this guy has no charisma, but even in doing so, he has charisma. You know what I mean? As a movie watcher, because he does this when Meryl falls down the stairs and cracks her neck, like very obviously is in like a ball. Like
she's literally just like limbs in everything direction,
facing the wrong direction. He just like very hopeful face, like checks her pulse.
It's so good.
The movement itself makes sense. Like, of course you would see if the person's dead, but it's also like the way the face he makes when he does it, like a grimace. It's very good. I do not like the body horror in this movie.
You winced a lot more. I was surprised that even as a kid I wasn't bothered by it, but you were uncomfortable by this.
I do not like it. I don't like it. The gunshot wound to the midsection doesn't bother me as much.
That's pure Elmer Fudd. Like Daffy Duck getting his bill shot off.
I think that's it. I think it's more like that's not even what it looks like when you get shot with a shotgun, really. And trust me. But it is what Elmer Fudd looks like when. So it was. I guess maybe that's it. That was more cartoonish, and obviously that's the neck stuff is played for laughs, and it is kind of funny. It's also really CGI odd looking. Like it's odd looking in the way it's supposed to be odd looking, and then it's also odd looking in a way it's not supposed to be, where it's just like early CGI.
Right.
Where
I think it also it's in HD, which doesn't help.
Right. Yeah.
This is the first time I've really noticed like, ooh. I mean, when Meryl's head is on backwards, you can tell like it's her face looks a little flat and it's not exactly right. But especially when her neck gets like knocked back or when her head gets pushed into her body, like some sort of turtle woman, and she pulls it back out, you can tell that's very early CGI. It looks like very like, this is your neck color. It'll be all one color, and it looks very weird and stretchy. But I do think that was an effect of the HD, watching it in HD for the first time. But I mean, still, it is also early CGI.
Yeah, I definitely am not like...
What a piece of shit.
Yeah, I'm not inclined to like shit on the movie for it, but it does not help my discomfort with it.
I see. I mean, I mean, even though the gunshot is the most Looney Tunes of the violence, it is all sort of like Wile E. Coyote style violence.
Yes. Yeah.
And I mean, I think Robert Zemeckis would be pleased that you are uncomfortable with it. Like he is playing that discomfort for laughs.
Of course.
And I think a lot of movies sometimes try. I mean, it's rare, but I mean, sometimes movies try to do this Looney Tunes violence to real people, and it comes off as very disturbing. Like, I don't want to watch Michael Jordan be played by an accordion because Michael Jordan's a real person full of bones and blood. And to play it straight for laughs doesn't work as well as in this case, or like something like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, where, you know, you're supposed to be a little uncomfortable because you are a human being full of blood and and bones, as they say.
It's meant to be both funny and also like,
right. It's like Cronenberg meets Tex Avery.
Which is why we're watching it on Halloween season, spooky season.
I won't be able to sleep after this. While we're talking about the silly action, I also want to talk about the cinematography. This movie is very specifically shot.
Yeah.
There's
a painted background in the very first shot.
Oh yeah, the Broadway shot is very weird, and I think then you like pan down the theater building to the audience like pouring out of the theater because the play is so terrible. We get like weird shots of like nuns levitating. We have this hospital that seems to be like green marble all over the place. Very stylized. There's this fantastically over dramatic fantasy sequence when Goldie Hawn lays out her murder plot for killing Madeline, which is all like there are shots of where it pans down a dining room table from Meryl Streep, you know, being knocked out by a drug, landing in her salad, and then the camera pans through all the candelabras on the table to Bruce Willis and Goldie Hawn, Roldy Ron, holding hands at the other end. And there's all these just like very specific like shots in this that I looked up the cinematographer because I was like, who is this person? He was a cinematographer on Jurassic Park and Who Framed Roger Rabbit and a lot of other Zemeckis movies. And then after this, he sort of went nowhere. Like
he was done.
He did Camp Rock, the Disney Channel original movie starring Jonas #1, I think.
Do you think this broke him?
Oh, he was also the cinematographer on Halloween.
Oh, the Orig?
The original. See, tie into an actual scary movie, which is funny because the scene where Madeline is off in the background after she fell down the stairs and Bruce Willis runs to call Goldie Hawn, like her slowly getting up in the background was very Michael Myers in the original Halloween. There's a scene, I think, where Jamie Lee Curtis is also calling the police and you see Michael Myers like get up, but like out of focus in the background. I just thought it was weird that the cinematographer is a very stylized guy, and I was eating it up. Gimme, more shots coming out of fireplaces and things like that. And then I felt like this movie broke him.
Well, it was maybe that he had to do the Morticia Addams lighting on. Did you notice that on
I
Meryl
did
Streep?
notice that.
That was very weird. Like after she died, she had like light just over her eyes, but I feel like they kind of dropped it. But at the beginning when
I feel like it was just maybe that scene. Maybe it was to make her look more pale.
Yeah. It was very strange. Like, I think the inconsistency was strange. Though, like, first, like, you're like, oh, cool. That doctor scene is my favorite scene.
The one with Sidney Pollack as the doctor?
He's just, like, very casual at first. And then over time, he discovers she's dead. Mm-hmm. And just, like, it's like, whoa, kids, let me tell you. And then he
takes a sip off of Bruce Willis' flask.
Yeah, can I have a sip of that? And then he walks out of the room and then dies of a heart attack.
I think my favorite thing about that scene is that he at first is very disturbed. Like he tries her wrist and he like bends it all the way back so that the top of her hand is touching the top of her arm. And he's like, are you telling me this doesn't hurt?
Yeah.
And then
he's also got like the thermometer in her mouth and she's playing it really funny. She's like, I told you it doesn't hurt. I told you again.
It doesn't hurt. And then he he sees the protrusion of her vertebra coming out the front of her neck. And he's like, oh. And then after that, he just sort of like, he pulls the thermometer out of her mouth and he goes, yeah. And only later do you realize what he saw was below 80 as her and he just goes, yeah. Well, let me tell you, kids, what this is. Okie dokie, kids. And then promptly dies.
The only other quote that I have is so Isabella's character Liesel gives them a warning. You know, you have to kind of like, at some point, you're going to have to either fake your death or disappear or something because people are going to realize that you're living forever. And then you can just kind of do whatever you want, but you got to be careful about it. And then so Weird Eye Guy is giving a speech at the party, and he's like, there's some like random dead celebrities around. So there's Andy Warhol and Marilyn Monroe. And then he's like, and I've heard of people making appearances, and I'm not going to name names. Then we see Elvis, and he goes, I was just having some fun, man. That's all I was doing. I really appreciated the line. I don't know. Like,
I was just having some fun.
That's all I was doing.
It is. We also see Greta Garbo in the audience, and she was referenced earlier by Liesel. We also catch Jim Morrison and James Dean.
Was Jim Morrison the one that was like trying to swim in the pool?
Yeah, he's like, "Are you gonna get out of there or what?" After Bruce Willis crashes through the stained glass window above the pool, and then when Bruce Willis leaves, he turns to the girl he was gonna presumably fuck in the pool. He goes, "That was pretty neat."
I didn't really make the Jim Morrison connection.
I think it's the belt and probably the fact that the Doors came out somewhere. That movie, the Oliver Stone movie, The Doors, came out, I think, around this time.
He just looked like the other wrestler butlers to me.
True. That was pretty neat. And Bruce Willis steals James Dean's spider to drive away.
Okay.
Which, I guess I was going to say, you wouldn't want to keep the car you died in, but then I'm like, James Dean didn't die in it. So he's like, I got rid of one spider, bought another one, and headed on my way.
The car. It wasn't the car's fault that I was going around Dead Man's Curve so fast. Now, in the IMDb, again,
please,
giant red flag. It said that, was it Variety called this a gay cult classic and a touchstone of the queer community. Yes. I just want to touch on that again because what? Why?
I think first off, you have two strong older women just eating up the scenery like nobody's business.
You got a Meryl.
You got a Goldie. You got Isabella Rossellini living in a sex haven with a bunch of hunky dudes. Wearing obscene pants. Not obscene in the good way, just like that is stylishly obscene.
Yeah.
That is sartorially offensive to me.
They're wearing like full on like, welterweight champion belts.
They've got these weird, like, almost like cummerbund belts. And then they're wearing these tights, like almost like biker shorts, and they're striped, but they have like the puffy stripes. They look like clown pants.
Like clowns.
Like a clown would wear. Like a biker clown, like a cyclist clown.
I guess, okay. All right. I didn't put all that together. Fair enough.
And I mean, I think it's just, I don't know.
I didn't, this is how dumb I am. I just didn't really pick up the gay part of it.
Well, that's the funny thing. I feel like, I mean, I'm sure it's much easier now in the internet age, but when I was a kid, I watched all these movies just thinking, I like these movies because this is the kind of movies I liked. And then I got to college, met a bunch of other gay guys, and I was like, why do we all like Death Becomes Her?
For some reason, it's like, it speaks to you like formative. Right. Okay, all right.
Why are we all watching Golden Girls? There aren't that many gay men on Golden Girls. It's a movie about sexagenarian old women. Why would we all gravitate towards this?
And it's like, it is kind of interesting because like me and all my like straight white male friends all like watched, we watched Billy Madison and Tommy Boy and those like, but we watched them like together or like talked about them together. We didn't all like discover them independently because we were closeted straights. And then we come to college and finally start to find ourselves and be like, you like Billy Madison? I like, so it's like, it's not quite the same thing.
What a world though.
Yeah.
If you were expected to watch Death Becomes Her and you're like, I don't like Death Becomes Her, I like Billy Madison. And then you have your own straight version of Vito Russo has to write sort of like the celluloid closet, but for straight men. And it's like, here's the oeuvre of Chris Farley. I want to just go into this. What makes Chris Farley a straight icon?
That will never happen. You will not replace us.
I don't know. I think also I mentioned the Golden Girls, and maybe that plays into this too, in that you have older women sort of being brushed aside with Madeline and Helen as well. You also have a secret society, so like an underbelly of real society where all these beautiful celebrities are going to cocktail parties together, but no one knows about it. And Elvis and James Dean are like hanging out. So there's that, like that secret life, that double life element to it that I also think attracts a lot of people of the queer persuasion.
That all checks out. That makes sense. I guess I just like, I can easily get that can go over my head.
No, sometimes I'm like, what? Why are we all doing this?
Well, and it's like, it's not like it's, it can be coded, or sometimes it's not even coded. It just sort of speaks to a specific community, and maybe they didn't even know when they created it, but then they're like, yeah, great. If it's found a voice in a community, kind of like He-Man, we were talking about, like, I don't know that they necessarily meant to code these things, but then when they do, they're like, aces.
Sure.
Glad you like it.
You'll still be spending money on the action figures then?
I meant to do it.
You'll be wearing these costumes at your sexy Halloweens?
Yeah. It can be both like giving too much credit and also not giving enough, both at the same time, because I don't know. You never know what people's intentions are, because also these are like, it's not like you're like, I mean, I watched this movie when I grew up and I didn't pick it up, and I just watched it as a 39-year-old and I didn't pick it up either. So it's like,
and it's not like Robert Zemeckis is like a John Waters type.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's, I don't know. It's kind of what you get out of it, but I guess I feel like that's adequately explained. Thank you.
Also, you have two Oscar winners fighting with shovels at one point. Also, that makes it a camp classic by definition.
That's what makes it gay?
Sure.
That's why when Denzel Washington and Denzel has an Oscar, right?
Yes, Training Day.
That's why when Denzel Washington and Tom Hanks got in that shovel fight in that one movie, it was immediately a gay cult classic.
Philadelphia. It's so beautiful. It's a beautifully filmed shovel fight.
That's why the gay community loves Philadelphia. It really spoke truth.
Camp classic.
Not to the AIDS epidemic, but to the shovel fight between two Oscar winners.
Not the loving relationship between two men, but the shovel fight between a lawyer and his dying client.
Do you want to go to the verdict? Are you ready?
Wait, I want to bring up one last thing.
Oh, great.
Which is the last. I only noticed this. I rewatched this earlier in the pandemic with Tyler and our friend Adam, friend of the show. Mm-hmm. And Adam made a good point, Sondheim, and I want to bring it out here. Our Sondheim expert. Yeah. That the last half of this movie kind of starts to like crumble a little bit.
Much like their bodies.
Much like their bodies. But like once Madeline and Helen become friends again, about maybe 2/3 of the way through, the movie loses a big bit of tension and seems to be flailing to find any other tension it can recreate. So it sort of half creates Isabella Rossellini as a villain, half just the very idea of wanting to live forever as a villain, tries to make Bruce Willis into a hero, which, especially in this rewatch, I realized, like, this is a man who strangled his wife just because she was mean to him. Yeah. And I originally wrote down he attempts to kill her, but no, he actually actively chooses to push her down the stairs. Yeah. Just because she's cheating on him and
he's mean.
Calls out his dick for its flaccidness.
I mean, Damon,
which is unfair.
Counterpoint. She's really mean.
Good point. Kill her. And then the last half of the movie starts to like try and make him into a hero or some like great man. And it feels like the movie is saying, oh, this is a story about two terrible women and one heroic man. And I'm like, I think this is a movie about three terrible people.
Yes. Yeah.
So the ending never really sticks for me. And it feels a little bit like sort of silly, but it is a little misogynistic in that you have these two women sort of frenemies, and they're sort of almost incoherent of their hatred of each other.
Yeah.
and the man is the rational person, even though he did kill a woman.
Yeah.
I don't know. And also, I mean, we looked up in the trivia. I mean, there is a cut of this movie that apparently had Tracy Ullman in it at one point. And even if you watch the trailers, you will see bits with Tracy Ullman that did not make it to the theatrical release. So it feels like this movie might have been like sort of reworked on the editing room. So I don't know. That last act never like lands as solid as the fun Looney Tunes shovel bashing scene does.
It's definitely a weak third act thing, but also like I think I completely agree on there's a little bit of like misogynistic tone to the end, but also it's meant to be played for laughs. Like he ran away, escaped from this situation, and completely changed his life. He did everything he wanted to do. He ended up having a bunch of kids and like a new wife, and like built a life for himself, and like had like charitable foundations and all this stuff. And we're hearing about all this, and it's played for laughs because it's like they came to his funeral to gloat. It seems like
that they're still alive and he's dead.
Yeah,
they've learned nothing.
They learn nothing, and they hear all this stuff, and they're kind of like in the back, like they're not getting it. And as the audience, we're being like, see, these are just terrible people, which is like shitty. But then also, it is kind of funny.
No, so, I mean, it is bolstered. The third act is bolstered by the fact that the movie is still continuously funny throughout,
and they are terrible people. But he also was, no matter what he did to try to, after the kind of main event of the movie, he's still terrible. But so he gets kind of a pass. Right. Because he's
the movie
dead.
gives him a pass. And I think that, I mean, it's still a movie about women directed by a man.
Yes.
So I think that also probably plays, which we should always look askance when that happens.
Yeah.
No, I think the movie is trying to like make a commentary about LA's obsession with youth and beauty. Yeah. But also, the people who are most obsessed with youth and beauty are the people that we meet are the two female characters. And the man is the only one who's like, no, I want to, die naturally and I don't want to live forever and be young forever.
Right.
He's the only sane one who sees beyond the shallowness.
Even though, hey, you're a man and these same pressures aren't on you for that.
Right.
Right. In the first place. Right. And you are, not only is he able to kind of live above them because he's a man, he's also the one performing the surgeries at the beginning of the movie.
The plastic surgeries and the posthumous surgeries.
So I don't think that that's completely missed, you know what I mean, the message of the movie, but it is, it is, the way it's done is a little bit.
I mean, it took me 48 viewings of this movie for me to catch up on it, but it's still there a little bit.
Absolutely.
And I mean, apparently, if the Tracy Ullman character hadn't been excised completely, she would have been, I think she ends up like as a love interest for Bruce Willis. So she would have been a counterbalance to these two terrible women, maybe. But we'll never know. We'll never know.
Let's go to the verdict.
Please. Let's go there now. I can't believe you built a whole verdict room. We have to walk to with our Muppet
with the Muppet shoulders. It's downstairs. Do you want a beer?
Oh yeah. Hold on. Let me get a glass. Clink 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 clink. Don't drink it so fast. Jesus, you're gonna get belches.
Before we get to the verdict,
please.
I have a nominee for the Sally Field Single Scene Award for
by
Sidney
all
Pollack,
means.
Dr. Zuff.
Oh, absolutely. Seconded.
Yes.
And it is so writ.
And not only is it just one scene that he deserves the award for, that's the one he's in. He's the only scene he's in, which is nice. So he's batting 1,000. Came in the movie, hit a home run, and then died.
I will give the Catherine O'Hara Memorial VIP Award nominee. I would give it to Meryl Streep, but she's got so many.
Yeah, she's not going to appreciate it.
I'm going to give it to Bruce Willis.
Okay, yeah, I will second that. I think I got
give it to the man in this story about women.
I think I got more laughs out of Meryl, if I'm being.
No, I mean,
but she's Meryl Streep.
Yeah, she's just going to come up in the nominate. I mean,
yeah.
This is like the Lifetime Achievement Award. You know, someone's been nominated a few times, the Oscars, and Peter O'Toole's probably not going to be nominated again because he's dead. So just give him the Lifetime Achievement Award. It's not for the one. It's not. They don't ever win for the role they're nominated for.
It's for the next one.
The role 2 times ago they were supposed to get nominated for.
So she gets it for this one, but it's really for Out of Africa. We thought she was hilarious in that.
I couldn't stop laughing. When is she gonna get out of there?
The body horror made me uncomfortable.
Is this your verdict?
Yes, it is. It was not. It's not a perfect movie by any means. But Your Inner Child's not an idiot. This was really fun. This is my kind of Halloween movie. Where like I want some like macabre but funny, and I don't want to really be scared that much. A little, I like a thriller, but like this, if you're going for the comedic side of things, this is great. It's got some really good lines. It holds up pretty well. Some of the CG stuff that we were talking about was weird. I don't like the neck stuff; makes me really uncomfortable.
Because you have a neck, so you're like, I don't want that to happen to my neck.
That, I don't want to put that on you, audience. That's me. I don't like it. But yeah, Your Inner Child is not an idiot. What do you think?
Your Inner Child is not an idiot, as the gay mafia. I mean, they are holding a gun to my head, but I would have said it even if they weren't here.
Those aren't guns.
This is a really funny movie. I think it's immensely quotable, which glosses over maybe the more uneven parts of the story and the plot. It's beautifully shot. It's really fun. I think overall the CGI more or less holds up.
Yeah. The fact that they went Looney Tunes helps a lot because you're
absolutely.
Like, it's too cartoony. It was like, well, we were going for that. So,
it's a great film. If you're listening to this and haven't seen it, I would recommend it.
Yeah, if you want, especially if you want like a fun like.
If you're listening to this and you've already seen it, Happy Pride Month.
Whenever you're listening. What do you think, everybody? Email us, yourinnerchildisanidiot@gmail.com. You can leave a voicemail or text us, 615-576-0525. You can find us on all the social media, Instagram and Facebook. And I want to thank my friend Russ Weaver for the use of his song Top of Two for our ad music. I want to thank Benny Goldstein for editing this episode. Thank you, Benny.
Thank you, Benny.
And we want to thank our patrons for supporting the show, including Hizoner the Mayor,
Dan McIntyre,
Beth Surmont,
David Mort,
Jonathon Day,
Just Cuz,
the supreme ruler of this podcast,
Scalfasaurus,
Dr. Malcolm's Heaving Bosom,
Heather Tuggle,
Tyler Richardson,
Captain Jean-Luc Picard,
Karen Curd,
Lindsey Nell,
The Zesty,
Jacob Grimm,
Particle Man,
Demon's Australian accent. There's a lot of accent work in our patrons' names.
Dramatically placed hot dog,
Larissa Maestro,
T. Smith,
Jeremy Powlen,
and Kevin from Cleveland. Thank you all very much. And the rest of our patrons, we really appreciate it. If you want to support the show like them, patreon.com/yourinnerchildisanidiot. Do you want to play us out?
Yeah. What do I see? That's the question I